Pathfinder. Making contact at .003.
Welcome to Live Action Star Wars. I'm Ralph.
I'm James.
And today we are discussing Donny and Marie, the Star Wars variety special thing.
Yep.
Yep. But we're not doing it alone.
No,
this is the first person I thought of when I brought up doing this episode, and that's none other than Ken PLUME. Ken, welcome to the show.
I'm back. See that? I'm wondering if that's an insult. This is the only person that you thought of when doing this show.
No. First, there was definitely another one. There was another.
Okay. I'm glad that I was in second position for.
But that other one,
you came first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you came first.
There was a tie for the Muppet Show episode.
I missed the Muppet Show episode. I'm getting Donny and Marie when I could have had the Muppet Show episode.
That went to Patrick Kottner.
No. How dare he? How dare he? I have
I think we found out
all things Muppet over Patrick. I put in more time than Patrick has.
I know. We could always revisit.
Yes, you must.
I was messing around with possibly this episode being, since it was a new year, just going back and doing Star Wars again.
Period of Civil War.
Yeah. How long?
Yeah, it's doing a Star Wars episode.
This entire operation is so much slicker and more professional. It just looked great compared to the last time I was on, which was decades ago, right?
At least.
I think it's Mando season 2 or something.
Yeah.
No. It was Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett. We had conversations about space age scooters.
Oh yes. Wow, how long it's been.
And just so everybody knows here, because I was talking about it before we went live to James and Ken. We are not on Instagram. For some reason, when I hit the click live there, Instagram just shut down. So I try to do live on Instagram. Maybe next week. I guess we'll keep giving it a shot.
And that's the promise of tech.
Yeah. But I'm fairly sure we're live somewhere, at least on YouTube, because
we're on YouTube
here. Scott's watching, Sarah, Jeremy, Johnny, Wolfgang is here, and so we're live somewhere. So that's good. That's good. Now, the reason why I picked the Donny and Marie special is because we watched the Disturbance in the Force.
Mm-hmm.
We chatted with the director Jeremy Kuhn a couple weeks ago. Maybe here's a little bit of inside information. That stream did not go to Twitch.
Oh, did it not? I thought we had people from Twitch.
Because Jeremy's last name triggered Twitch, and it was in the title of our show.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, but during that, sorry, Twitch users who are mostly bots, but this was part of that, the Donny and Marie thing. And I'm like, I've never seen it.
We've had it on our list for a long time as well. Like it's always been one. Yeah.
It's one of those ones where you're like, if we're going to get weird, let's do this one. And we finally got weird. And I got to be honest with you. I mean, listen, it's weird.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was that bad.
I was expecting worse.
I was expecting way worse.
Well, it would be spoiling for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but it's not boring.
No.
It's too weird to be boring.
But I mean, I think that's what came up in Disturbance in the Force when they were talking about this, and they were talking about stuff around this time. Is it was weird, but it also wasn't, because no one knew what they could do with it. Star Wars is the biggest thing in the world right now, and everyone wants a piece, and so they just went, "Cool, variety show, let's do it." And then they just sang some songs, they danced around. Kris Kristofferson was there, and
It should be noted this is almost a full year before the holiday special.
Yeah.
Right.
There aren't even action figures in stores.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it?
This is what Star Wars is within the public sphere for a long time, is just all of these weird appearances.
Which for me is one of the selling points, or one of the things that I say to people like who bitch and complain about any Star Wars content that's out there now. Like when I was a kid, this is all we got.
Yeah.
You know, after Return of the Jedi, the promise of the ending of Return of the Jedi, after that was done and Star Wars was done, anything we got beyond that has been like a bonus.
Oh, I remember when the Ewok movie was announced after Return of the Jedi, when you were in the desert going, oh, Star Wars is done, right? It's completely done. There's no more Star Wars. And then you had cartoons. They weren't great, but they were there.
I grew up in a time when there was nothing. Like there was literally nothing from 87 till like Thrawn books in 91. Like, and so I had nothing except I had a brother and a sister who are a lot older than me and were handing me down toys. So I was playing with hand-me-down toys and making up my own stories and watching crappy copies of it taped off of like TV where it broke up as soon as Obi-Wan was telling Luke that he's got to go to the Dagobah system.
Yeah, you like lived within the 4:3 pan and scan.
That's it. That was
didn't know anything better.
No, it was great. And so I would see like the droids and Ewok cartoons in video stores, and I'd be all about it. I'd be renting those just to get some Star Wars.
You never knew that Dengar was in Jabba's palace. You didn't know that.
No. I found it out. But I mean, I was an early adopter to lots of books and things, so I was finding out that stuff as it was coming out. But I didn't see Donny Marie.
Right. I didn't see Donny Marie.
No, this did not live on in reruns. This show happened and it went away.
But it
survived in clips.
So as Stevie says, we did watch the whole episode. Stevie and I watched the entire 49 minutes. We didn't watch just the Star Wars bits.
No, you have to commit to the full ride. As anyone who loves Star Wars tuning in at the promise of Star Wars, and how they were tricked into watching the entirety of a Donny and Marie variety show.
I watched the opening number thinking, okay, cool, right, when's the Star Wars happening? And I saw the runtime, I was like, are they gonna intersperse it? Are they gonna do like cut back and forth? And then I did the old tap 10 seconds every time, just scanned all the way through. And then when I noticed that they were showing some skateboarding, I was like, okay, cool, I get it. Like, anyone there that I recognize? Nope, cool, keep going forward. And I got past Kris Kristofferson, I got past the pool hall with Red Fox, and I was like, I can skip all of this, like just cut to the Star Wars.
Here's the thing, I think for me, sitting through that garbage, which wasn't too bad, it's definitely better than holiday special stuff, but sitting through that, the reward is Star Wars. And
otherwise those guest stars would be a complete surprise. You have to set up the fact that they're there in that episode before they arrive in that Star Wars at the end. Imagine being an audience at the time.
I mean,
there was no fast forward. You didn't know when it was going to come on within that hour, and it would never come back. So you had to sit there. Imagine poor children sitting there waiting for a little bit of Star Wars, having to watch
that. Yeah, like, so I know of Donny Osmond from just he's been around, and he's always been around. He was around during my childhood, and but I'd never seen any of this stuff. Like, that's the whole family, right? It's him, his sister, and the brothers are some of the other dancers and stuff.
Yes. He started out as the youngest member of the Osmonds.
Okay.
Much like Michael Jackson was the youngest member of the Jacksons. They were the Mormon whitewashed versions of the they were the safe Jacksons for a portion of America at that time. So if you ever listen to their music of that period, it is very clear
they were manufactured.
That was the intention of filling a niche within the industry in that time.
Okay, interesting.
I only know that song. I'm a little bit country. I'm a little bit rock and roll. I don't think I've heard it in its entirety. I'm aware of Donny and Marie. This is the first time that I've watched anything Donny and Marie related. Apparently, this is the beginning of season 3.
Yeah,
of
they
their
kept saying it.
I think there's 4 seasons, or maybe they topped out at 3.
Okay.
I didn't look too deep into the IMDb. I noticed there was a season 4, and then after that, a question mark, as if the Donny and Marie show is going to come back at some point.
It was never officially cancelled. It just didn't come back.
Like the second Death Star.
I found myself really sort of intrigued by it all.
It's a time capsule, no matter what.
I've seen like the Brady Bunch variety show, and I've seen other variety shows, mostly like the Sid and Marty Krofft stuff. But yeah, this is my first time actually like seeing something like this. The Smothers Brothers kind of was a variety show, but that was more of a comedy along the line of like Laughing or something.
And
I remember watching them, and they were good. They were good. But this, I haven't seen anything like this because I don't really like, this kind of music. I'm not into like super into like disco, especially when it's so like watered down.
This isn't disco. No, this is a weird hybrid of show tunes and
it's just show tuney pop. It's just pure pop, isn't it?
It exists within its own bubble of theatricality, because I would not want to cast dispersions on theatrical music either. This is just a weird, you know what? It's like super polishing something beyond the point of recognition. It's like if you put music into AI and asked it to produce something that was inoffensive to as many people as possible because it was completely disposable.
It was it was null and void of anything. Like
It's like Muzak.
Yeah,
it's basically elevator entertainment,
live action music. Yeah,
and
it's
like, to be,
they're not bad at what they do. It's just what they do isn't good.
Right.
It suffers from what a lot of it is, because the better version of everything they're doing. The better version.
Yeah,
they can start off with Southern Nights, but that there's the Glenn Campbell cover of that is the iconic version of Southern Nights that you're going, this doesn't. There's a better. Why am I sitting through this inferior version of this?
With brothers and sisters getting real handsy.
That was one of the.
I mean, that's what I know of Donny Marie is.
Like, I mean, that was what led to many SNL parodies. Wayne and Wanda in the Muppet Show is a Donny Marie parody.
Oh wow!
I didn't realize that. That would have been good information to have on our Muppet Show episode.
Yeah, Patrick.
I mean, I'm all for a revisit. We can get both of you guys on. I'm just gonna say it. I kind of took a shine to Marie. I thought Marie was really charming.
Someone in our comments when we first posted this up on the Instagram, like yesterday, when we were saying that we were doing this episode, let me try and find who it was.
But I never like noticed her smile before. Is very top teeth heavy, and I was like, I didn't. But the thing is, I guess that was a thing, because at the commercial break they would have an animated mouth where the top teeth was like a trademark.
A signature icon of the Osmonds in general was that they were very toothy, so that became a visual signifier of the Osmonds.
She's not too dissimilar looking to Carrie Fisher at the time, though. I don't think. Like, it's, if you're gonna cast like a TV version of someone to play Princess Leia, like she does fit the role. Like, I think she's okay, and Donny Osmond looks like the Luke with the X-wing helmet with the black hairline. Like, he's fine in that position. But
I'm gonna say something really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up with Star Wars, I love Princess Leia. Princess Leia is great.
Yeah.
But when I grew up, I found that she was kind of a sex symbol, especially like the slave Leia outfit, and just in general, that she was a sex symbol. I never thought of her as that because I was a little kid and she was Princess Leia. Marie as Princess Leia, on the other hand, was very striking to me. And I was like, oh, okay.
So what you're saying, you've come to the party late, but you've arrived.
I guess so.
It's what we were just saying though. Why would you go for that when the other one's already there?
I hear Stevie laughing in the next room. That's super embarrassing. It's super embarrassing.
But you said it.
I said it, and I felt like I needed to because, I guess I am late to the game. I just didn't like how handsy she got with her brother. Maybe sparked a little bit of a thing in George Lucas's mind. Maybe seeing Luke and Leia being so handsy.
No, I think that was already well established.
I think, yeah.
Well, this is pre Empire, so
pre anything, yeah.
So depends on what version of the timeline of creation you see of George's, and adhere to.
Right. I know he had twins in the Star Wars and the Journey of the Wills scripts, but I don't think by Empire.
I mean, we're getting into the whole Lee Brackett territory and
the other
out
sister
where exactly.
Yeah.
Kidding.
That should be a starred comment.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like that one we need to keep. I really enjoyed the the crawl that we got at the beginning of the Star Wars section.
They're all
I mean, none of it could stay like in frame, but at first I was like, okay, are they just trying to do this from memory? And then it got to like the joke of it, and I was like, just the values of patriotism, cleanliness, thrift, and good dental hygiene. Like, genuinely got a chuckle out of me. It might be because I'm not feeling too well when it was 5 a.m. when I was watching it, but like, I thought it was kind of funny.
The best way to describe variety shows of this period, particularly Donny and Marie, is I'm going to do it through the lens that James, that you'll understand, is Christmas cracker jokes.
Okay, great, perfect.
In that Christmas cracker jokes are designed to be as inoffensive as possible and groan-worthy as possible to bring the family together in their derision of how awful this thing was, and how awkward this thing was. So an entire family of disparate personalities can find common ground. And boy, this is weird.
God, thing. Just a collective groan around the table.
Right. So look at this as a Christmas cracker joke.
This entire special.
Well, the entire series, and this variety shows of that. The UK has still doing variety shows of that variety.
It was funny because by this time in the episode, like, Donny is sort of self-aware that the little bit country song is a little bit overplayed.
He's trying to get rid of it.
Over it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is meta. I mean, and Donny, as you saw also in the Disturbance of the Force documentary, if anyone has seen it,
check it out,
is well aware of how corny what they were doing was.
Yeah.
And it's at a point when he is now an adult, having been a child singer with his family and wanting to be a little bit rock and roll and being stuck in this very popular variety show format at the time. I mean, there's a reason they lasted as many seasons as they did. They were very popular throughout the country.
So
he mentioned being a teenager, and like,
by the way,
so he's 66 now.
Right now he's 66. So he's 20 years older than me.
Yeah.
And I was born this year this came out, so he was 20 when he did this.
Right.
There you go.
Exactly the period when you would not want to be doing this if you were trying to be taken seriously as an adult and a career independent of your brothers. You had risen to fame with.
It really looks like the Osmond parents forced the Osmond brother or Donny and Marie to put the Osmond brothers in this episode.
They really are just the White Jacksons, aren't they? Like through and through, like right down to the younger sister, who's probably the most talented. But
if any group looked like, oh, these are my older brothers that were sticking in the show, it was the Osmonds of that period.
Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned this to Stevie too. When they cut over to the Osmond brothers, I told her that they look like you're trying to make a Bitmoji of Donnie, and these are all the ones that didn't quite come together. They got the mouth right,
Yeah.
as they were trying to make their Donnie. That was right, but all the eyes and noses were all in the wrong
Yeah,
places.
this is the Mid-Journey output
Yes,
of Donny Osmond.
exactly. I didn't count their fingers, but yes,
Don't
100%.
don't go there. Don't look at their hands.
It was in their rider. They used to have that
Yeah.
at every show. Don't look at our hands.
That's why the teeth is there. They're there for misdirect. Don't look at the hands.
Too many teeth, too little fingers.
So I was happy to see that Bob Mackey and Bruce Valanche both were involved with this episode. I don't know how much of the Donny Marie show they did, but it just shows you why the holiday special is what it is when you got people behind things like this working on Star Wars, and you can tell that those guys didn't really know Star Wars, and they really didn't have much to go off of. They essentially had like a look of a movie, but like character-wise and world building,
They had the film to go off of.
Yeah, that one film.
Yeah.
That one film that was seen at that time as a one-off.
Yeah.
I mean, it may have been said, it wasn't even, George may have been saying statements about wanting to continue the story, but that was a rarity to happen then.
Yeah, and again, like it's not like today where you can just like pull up any news website, entertainment news website. Like you would have had to have looked for film news of that sort. Otherwise, it's just
Well, and the idea of just sequelizing or making a series out of things was not common, particularly at that point.
It was like just Planet of the Apes, right? Like,
I mean, you hadn't really had ongoing film series like that since the 40s. Would have continued like the Thin Man series, or you'd have an ongoing thing that might have recurring characters like that. Certainly not outside of, like you said, Planet of the Apes, which took a nosedive in sort of how it was viewed from like an adult film at first. It was a children's product in the 70s. Yeah. So, it was not an assumption that, Star Wars, of course, is continuing. It's just it's a pop culture zeitgeist moment that everyone was making jokes about and incorporating because the kids liked it, and that would get people to watch.
Yeah, you can get the whole family to tune in, so no one's going to be fighting over the one TV this time.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Bring grandma and the kids to watch the TV.
It's a Christmas cracker.
Yeah.
The couple things that I want to mention about the Star Wars bits. First is clanking C-3PO plastic, like. I don't think I've ever seen really behind the scenes footage of C-3PO where you hear the plastic just clanking as Anthony Daniels moves around in it.
Also unfiltered Anthony Daniels voice.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Who clearly was recorded separately.
Yeah. I was going to say he was the only one that they got, like, because it definitely wasn't James Earl Jones, obviously.
But
Thurl Ravenscroft.
Yes, I was very excited. I told Steve, I said, I think that's Thurl Ravenscroft. I think
that was without a doubt right off the bat.
And then she heard it. She's like, oh yeah, totally.
He's great.
Oh, okay.
Ghost of Tony Tiger.
Ghost of Tony Tiger. Yes.
One of the heads in the Haunted Mansion.
He's also in Pirates of the Caribbean.
We have the record.
And he's the
Disney Music
voice
Emporium.
Your mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's where that's where James Yu would probably really key into.
I mean, all of those things.
But Tony the Tiger is like the big ongoing pop culture thing that he had for decades.
I highly recommend you check out his narration of the Jungle Cruise. It's on YouTube. Stevie has a record. One side, it's the whole Tiki Room show. The second side is Thurl Ravenscroft doing the Jungle Cruise narration, but it's before they had jokes. So it's a little dry, but just hearing his voice.
Well, it was intended as a travel log. It was supposed to be, you can't go to all these other areas in the world, so the Jungle Cruise is going to be your gateway to the world.
To the Amazon and to the Nile and whatever. Who
was the one host who decided to throw in some jokes and that became their shtick then?
I would say I think it was the 70s is when that evolution really happened. The transition to it being a little looser. It was a little looser time.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. It's a long, slow boat ride full of corny corny jokes opportunities.
It's the variety show of rides.
And you already had the visual set pieces as
Yeah.
well that were within it. So it was just playing even further off of those visual gags that have been set up on the cruise itself.
I gotta say, like, Thor Ravenscroft, I think he's trying to do a Vader impression, but at the same time, I feel like he would make a really good Vader.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
I don't think there's no menace.
No.
Ravenscroft is
deliveries,
warm a voice.
It reminded me a lot more of the radio
though.
play. The NPR radio show version of Vader. It reminded me more of that, where it's like, I'm not scared by you. I'm just really intrigued by what's going on.
I'm impressed by your voice quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like Thor Ravenscroft more than I forget the dude's name who played him in the radio drama. Like, the guy in the radio drama sounds like Alan Rickman in Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but Thurl is just he's putting a theatrical edge on the performance. You know, he was told to go big for that.
Yeah, it's under the direction of whoever whoever directed this one.
Sir Alan something, please.
Interesting though, I found out recently, I've been going around shooting photos, and I went to the Crystal Cathedral over here in I think it's Garden Grove. It's next to Anaheim. And I found out after the fact that Thurl Ravenscroft is actually buried there. And now I want to go back and find his grave or tomb or crypt or whatever they got a few things.
He's just a singing bust out front.
Yeah, it's the Haunted Mansion.
It's got to be, right? Why wouldn't it be the singing bust? It's got to be. I wonder if there's a quote that says, like, it's not great on his tombstone.
No, it was great. Please,
it was great. Oh, that's
an elegy for his career.
Nice.
Yeah. See, that's why I need a punch up. That's why I need like a Bruce Valanche.
Maybe not. Maybe not a Bruce Valanche. Maybe you don't need.
I mean, he was just. Oh, another name I noticed in the credits was the musical director was Alf Clausen, who everybody knows did how many seasons of The Simpsons.
But also, you can see where the versatility that he brought to The Simpsons music and the different styles, would come
and
from
some of those variety show episodes.
Where you're like, here's a whole mess of stuff that you need to figure out for this episode music wise, and it's going to be all over the place, incorporating what's popular at the time. Make something of it.
I'm gonna say it kind of made me want to watch more of these. I don't know why.
Oh well, I hope you bring
maybe it's
that.
You don't want to talk about non-Star Wars, Donny Marie?
They talked about what the next episode was at the end of this one, didn't they? And what the parody they were doing was that
they were doing a Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, that's what it was.
And I was so excited. I think that's what got me excited, was that they brought Ray Bolger back to be the Scarecrow. Lucille Ball's the Tin Man.
Yeah,
I forget who they said the Cowardly Lion was. But I was so stoked that Ray Bolger was still alive in 1977.
And you didn't look that up on YouTube?
I didn't.
Clearly, the account who uploaded this has been uploading other episodes.
Oh, yeah, it's Dave's Osmond's videos.
Yeah,
the name of the channel.
And amazing quality. I was really impressed by the quality of it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty close to air quality.
And I'm wondering if Dave is the one that originally taped the.
It's Dave Osmond. Let's just go ahead and say it's Dave Osmond.
Dave Osmond.
Yeah,
I 100% thought that too.
When I saw the thing, I was like, well, yeah, I mean, this is just one of the family just want to cash in on it a little bit. They just want those clicks on YouTube.
It's one of Donnie's many nephews.
Still trying to get that Osmond name. Some clout.
I'm putting your name out there, Uncle Donnie.
Red Fox looks a little bit more bored than some of the others. The first time we see him as like the Obi-Wan figure, it looked like he was just reading his script and not even looking up at the camera.
That was a quick shoot him before he's out on the day he shot his other segment.
Absolutely.
And we're dropping you in late. We're doing the Star Wars thing. What now?
Yeah.
That was a quick shootout and bye.
He seemed to get more into it in some of the other bits, like the look over there when he started telling jokes, basically. But the first bit, he looked like he did not want to be there at all.
So this apparently would be considered a sequel to Star Wars because Obi-Wan is one with the Force and just a disembodied voice. So is Kris Kristofferson not Han Solo? They meet him for the first. Is this a different guy
Is
that
Dash
also
Rendar?
has a Wookiee?
Is this our first version of Dash Rendar?
Oh, maybe.
Well, I think it's not a sequel. It is an interpretation of the second half of the film after Obi-Wan's death. Because they're clearly doing because Paul Lynde is supposed to be Tarkin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is he Tarkin?
Yes.
I just thought he was an Imperial.
Yeah, I think he was supposed. So it was doing sort of a condensed version of. Listen, you're trying to bring sense into something that is not.
There's not.
We have a bunch of these characters, and we think we have showpieces that we can build around them song wise. That are funny.
If the Mandalorian could bring up Life Day, we could start working this into canon. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm thinking that Paul Lynde is just an Imperial officer who picked up Vader because we never saw Vader get picked up after the Death Star battle.
Mm-hmm.
So Vader spinning in space lands on this ship.
You just want to bring Kris Kristofferson's Dash Rendar into canon. I get it. I understand that you want that.
He's still around.
Yeah, I mean, there's someone who has done
him and Donny
as well.
So what you're saying is the new Rey movie needs to incorporate Kris Kristofferson as not Han Solo.
Oh my God! Yes,
Donny Osmond as not Luke Skywalker as well. Like, just have him in there.
I think Donny Osmond could play an Imperial officer now, or whatever's left of the First Order.
I think they need to be they need to be a cantina band, right? Surely.
Donny and Marie singing robots.
Yeah.
I'm a little.
No, Marie's taken over as the new Akmina in the cantina.
Yeah, that works.
I don't think I'm a little bit jizz. That doesn't sound right.
Wait, no, that does not sound right, Ralph.
No. I thought the song, the song where they're just like, what was the line? It was, "Show me the way to get out of this world. If that's where everything is going on, I don't want to be there." I'm like, Jesus, did they write this in 2024? Like, it felt really prescient. And I was like, I mean, guys, I know the 70s weren't that great, but like, come on.
I mean, the 70s were not a high water mark societally and economically, particularly by the late 70s.
I was going to say like 76, 77, like it was pretty rough times. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I came into the picture.
It's all been downhill since then.
What if I was the linchpin?
Bursting on the scene.
Yeah, I was around for this. I was about maybe 5-6 months old when this came out. Okay. So who knows? Maybe it was
might not be your first time
down in front of this.
Yeah, this was formative memories for you. Who knows what this shaped in your brain?
It made me love Star Wars.
My mom claims,
and Kris
my mom claims as a baby she took me to see Star Wars. Like they went to go see Star Wars, and I was a baby in the theater. I'm sure I didn't cry. I'm sure I was a real gentleman. But so I'd like to say I've been, but I don't believe my mom sometimes. So
but also considering that Star Wars was still in theaters for quite a long time.
Yeah.
She might have taken you to go see it in 78.
Yeah, I was going to say in the I
was born.
Yeah, but meaning that
in February,
but that it was still in theaters. She might have taken you a lot later than when it opened. Like opening weekend also wasn't a huge thing.
I was 3 months old at the time when
and
Star
also
Wars was released.
It wasn't, it stayed.
It sort of traveled as well, didn't it? Like it had to move around. They only had so many prints.
Right. Well, I mean,
so there you go.
So many theaters.
Sarah, my sister says, "Then where was I?"
Okay.
So she would have been. She would have been. I'm not gonna. She would have remembered.
Okay.
I feel like she would have remembered.
This is how she found out she was not taken to the theater.
This is how I found out that the first time I saw Star Wars in the theater was the special edition. I do remember seeing Empire. I saw Empire at the Downey Avenue Theater in Downey, California, and I definitely remember seeing Return of the Jedi in Lakewood. But it's one of those things where I think my mom was trying to like just be nice and kind of give me some street cred, I guess.
He loves Star Wars. Let's just tell him that we took him.
Tell him that it was his first film. Yeah.
When really it was just Donny Marie was the only Star Wars he saw.
They just sat you in front of that 5 times in 1 week.
Hey, again,
it worked.
I did not hate this. I would watch this again. Like I would watch this annually as opposed
the
to
entire episode.
I like Southern Nights. It's a good song. It's in Guardians.
It is a good song. And then there's this version.
There is this version.
When we talked about Disturbance in the Force last week or 2 weeks ago, you said that we were talking about the holiday special. We were saying how the holiday special is not as bad as people make it out to be, and it's not going to be as bad as the Donny Marie thing. Now, your opinion? Where do the two rank up?
It's so hard because here's the thing. This is from start to finish a Donny and Marie show that happens to have Star Wars stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
The Star Wars holiday special is supposed to be Star Wars front and center, and it's not Star Wars. So for me, it's like, okay, like the Muppets Star Wars special is great because A, the Muppets are great, and B, Star Wars is great, and the Muppets writers know how to handle Star Wars better than
Luke knows how to handle a blaster.
Star Wars and music and comedy and so many other things better. Guest stars.
The holiday special is supposed to be Star Wars first, and it's definitely not that. But seeing it through the lens of the era of Donny and Marie, I can say that it helps the Star Wars special make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
You need Donny and Marie. I would say here, watch this Donny and Marie thing to lead you into the Star Wars holiday special. It's a gateway to the holiday special. You need to know.
I think this is your emotional attachment as the only Star Wars you saw as a child.
Yeah, this is your own. This is your true Star Wars.
Yeah, but I mean, I did see Empire because I was super afraid of the Tauntaun guts and Luke's head sticking out of the Vader helmet. Like I don't
know. Maybe you saw an episode of The Love Boat and you thought it was Empire Strikes Back.
I mean, I do think that Lando and Isaac are the two coolest people of my childhood.
Yeah. And for some reason, Charo was in Empire Strikes Back, according to Ralph.
she's the droid that says never mind.
Coochie.
They changed it to Ichuta.
They changed it.
It was Coochie, but yeah.
For Star Wars.
They're like, oh, it's a Star Wars. We'll do the Star Wars version of Coochie, which is Ichuta, and then
and that's how a universe is born.
Oh no. Apparently I'm officially a little bit country.
I
don't think I'm either.
And if you listen to that song, it's neither of the things it's saying as well.
Yeah, no,
right.
it's
Neither
not.
song. The song is neither.
And neither are they. Like Donny Osmond is not rock and roll in any way, shape, or form.
But he so wants to be.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if I'm gonna be, I think I would rather be country just to be closer to Marie. If it gets me one step closer to Marie,
we super get it, Ralph.
Usually there's a bit of delay and I'll hear the laugh coming from the other room, and just about now.
I'm more worried about the silence.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Stevie liked Marie. She liked the sort of flat top haircut in the middle there, where it looked like she literally looked like Flat Top from Dick Tracy.
Not the 5 minutes that they spent talking about her hair at the beginning.
I mean, the banter was. I'm so glad you watched more than just the 12 minutes, because I found it somewhat It felt like, I don't know if you saw, James, I don't know if they have it over there. There's a show over here called Snake Oil.
No,
and it's like one of those like overproduced game shows that happens. It's like The Wall or Who Wants to
Yeah,
Be a Millionaire.
we've got tons of them, but not that one. Yeah,
But this one has David
we
Spade
probably
as
do.
the
I bet
host.
Liz's mum watches that sort of shit. Yeah, yeah.
It's got
Okay.
David Spade as the host, and he just does not give a shit. And he just is like, he reads the cue cards and he scoffs at the jokes they feed to him, and he doesn't want to be there, and it's very entertaining. The rest of the show is no fun, but David Spade's portion, and I feel like at season 3, Donny and Marie talking about the haircut is all they have to talk about, and their banter is very like, I guess this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And remember, this is a pre-record.
And it's the season premiere. So
we're
like
getting the
her
best
new look.
We're getting the best that this can be.
Yeah.
This is the best takes. It's amazing. And you get to, what's funny about the pre-record is that sometimes they leave the clanky plastic of C-3PO in, and sometimes they don't.
R2 not being able to get up the ramp, like he clearly was trying to get up the ramp, and then he bumps it a few times, and then just went, no.
Just left it in.
And yeah, they just left it in. They left a close-up, a single one-shot of
they
R2.
knew the audience wouldn't care. And also, something that Disturbance of the Force does do a good job of pointing out was there's no reverence for these characters at this point, other than just there was a big movie that came out. So again, it's in the zeitgeist. People know it as a thing that even if they didn't see the movie, and older generation hadn't seen the movie, since this was really embraced by the younger generation, this was just like, oh, this is what the kids are talking about. Because again, you couldn't even go, oh, these are the toys that are in stores that I'm seeing all over the place, because you're not.
Yeah.
You're just now starting to see the paper goods.
This is to keep the kids' minds fresh, for when the toys come.
You still want the toys? Get your parents to buy you the
puzzle. The puzzle just came out.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that the opening. It's kind of dismissive, where the voiceover announces like Kris Kristofferson, Red Fox, the robots from Star Wars.
These guys.
Well, even in the goodbyes, the fact that he only says the stars of Star Wars.
Yeah,
there wasn't Anthony Daniels. There wasn't Peter Mayhew. There's no one is actually credited.
No,
beyond who was in there. There's no the operators of R2. There's no care about who was in these suits or what was going on.
I think it was Peter Mayhew.
Peter Mayhew's kind of difficult to get someone to stand in for.
Right.
Like because it's also a Chewbacca suit. It's not like they constructed. That is Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was Luke's belt.
And also that was not an inexpensive suit to pull off. So if you're going to have the actual Chewbacca suit that is tailored to a very uniquely sized individual who also would appreciate the work.
Absolutely. He's the one of everyone, like even over Golden Tony, like he's the one who's going to be like, yeah, I'll do it. Of course. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was probably, and also I could just see him going, I get to go and hang out next to Marie Osmond. Like, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. He was the Ralph of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they always say.
Right. My face is as red as the Life Day Chewbacca figure that has. I don't know if I have anything else to say about this thing. We still usually go for about an hour, but I don't know if you guys want to talk about something else. Maybe Ken, do you have any recommendations along the lines of this kind of thing? Like, are there any? I'm trying to think of other Star Wars stuff that happened around
the Star Wars stuff that's worth watching around this. I mean, it's all novelty.
It doesn't need to be. Yeah, there can be a lot. It can be trash.
I can say this. We've watched the holiday special. We've watched like the dancing Vader stuff, and we've watched the opening ceremonies for Star Tours, which are all very, very cringeworthy stuff. I don't think this was as cringeworthy.
Have you watched the Worlds of George Lucas Japanese spectacular yet?
No. And is that
early
available
90s?
Somewhere pretty easy to find? Is that
you can find it? Yeah.
Okay.
We'll put it on the list.
Add it to the list.
Yeah.
It's
was he involved with that at all?
I remember having Ralph McQuarrie painting for the is it Ralph? No, I think maybe it was Drew Struzan did the poster artwork for it. It was a big production and a lot of money put into it. Yeah, no, it's
Where did
worth.
that come up?
It's
Did that
worth
come
review.
up in Disturbance of the Force? I remember it's come up recently.
I think maybe Steve Sansweet in his interview mentioned it
Yeah.
as a thing. Like, if you think this is cringy, you should see
Think
what
about
they
this.
did. Yeah,
That's where it was. Yeah.
but they didn't show any clips, which they could have with
Mm.
fair use in the documentaries. I wonder, because it is worth showing, but I think it does. There's a lot of money in it and a lot of stagecraft in it. Like, production wise, it is spectacular what they're doing on a live stage with an audience.
Cool.
When you compare it to this, what they did pre-taped
In a studio, yeah.
That rocket ship.
And the clips of the Mercury 5 or whatever it was, like, just going up. It's like
Right.
But
with
also,
the
I mean, we
USA
can even talk
still
about,
clearly on there.
like, the stuff that the Lucasfilm participation is. You obviously had R2 and C-3PO. You had R2 with an operator, because he is being operated. He's not just being pushed around the stage. There is some RC control in there,
which they could barely get to work for the movie.
right? You also have a Vader costume. You have
4 stormtroopers for the brothers.
You have the storm. Well, even if there's some modifications, you can see they're a lot gappier.
Yeah.
With the black,
they got to fit. They got to fit. They got
to dance in it.
Osmonds.
Yeah,
they got to dance in it.
Osmonds aren't regular shaped.
So Lucasfilm is providing a lot of props and materials for this. You compare it with that Bob Hope spectacular, that winter special that Mark Hamill is a part of, when they just have their own constructed Vader bad guy costume for Bob Hope.
Yeah, Space Fighters, not Star Wars. It's more.
It's not like even sent over like the helmet portion or the top of the helmet.
It's the dollar store version,
right?
Yeah,
it is. How do we do a parody of this? Not full Lucasfilm participation of sending over costumes and performers.
That is something that I appreciated and liked about the end of this, where like Donny Marie are talking about it, and they're not trying to sort of play it up as anything serious. It is more like the wrap up of an SNL episode, where they're just like, well, that was a fun skit. Like, next week we're gonna do a similar thing for Wizard of Oz. Like, it is very much a variety comedy act. Yeah. What year did SNL start? That was similar sort
75.
of time. 75. Yeah, so it's a couple of years earlier.
So 2 years prior to this.
Yeah.
Which SNL was a reaction against variety shows like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Right down to the desire for all the artists to perform live and not be pre-records or lip syncing.
Yeah.
So no, this is
Farrah
a
Fawcett
cautionary
sketch. That Farrah Fawcett sketch with Paul Lynde was just atrocious.
I skipped right over that one. As soon as it started, I was like, no, I'm not watching any of this.
Yeah. Oh, you mean all of the single entendres and
the $6 million man reference, and she described her husband's job as like her just running in slow motion, which I thought was funny. I get it.
But all of the jokes and references have to be lowest common denominator and most accessibility.
Yeah.
They're not doing deep dives for only the most dedicated fan. It's what is the cliche that the audience knows of this.
What is not going to get us any complaints from anyone ever?
Well, I mean, including the Osmonds, who, very famously deeply Mormon. And that was a lot of their sort of...
I think.
What?
I think it's mentioned in the show, or at least Utah's mentioned.
Well, I mean, also you have that their whole production company card at the end.
Yeah, Osmond. Yeah,
also is Utah.
Yeah, and the last their good night was like mentioned God and stuff, and I was like, oh, we're so close.
I mean,
we almost made it through.
Of that era did.
Yeah.
No, that's
all you had on TV. You wanted to hope for something, a greater power.
Yeah.
Like this is what TV has to offer. Then,
and just think, out of 3 networks, this took up a position on one of them
for a whole hour.
I wonder what the counter programming was.
On
I
this,
wonder if I can look that
so
up.
this was a Saturday night show?
I think they said,
This
did they
would have
say
been
Friday?
a family
Friday,
night.
Friday or
Was it
Saturday
Friday
night?
night? So it's a family night, not working the next day. Gather around the TV show.
Yeah. Oh,
I want
Ralph's
I want
looking
to
it up.
I'm trying to look it up. It's not
Okay.
gonna. It's not gonna.
The bit that just threw me completely. Obviously, they're not going to do any plot. I'm not going to be as trying to get this into canon as Ralph is, but like the fact that they got all their dancers, the dancers all came around. They surrounded them, and they're like, "We got you captured." And then Chewie just puts his hands on the not Tarkin shoulders, and Vader's like, "Run away!" And it was like that was his whole thing. It's like, okay, there's just no.
Let's say it
no
like Tony the
threat.
Tiger. Run away!
You nailed it.
So I only have CBS and NBC. Now it looks like Donny Marie was on, followed by Logan's Run, the TV show.
Interesting pairing.
Yep.
And when Donny Marie
Let's
was
send the Osmonds to carousel.
Oh, I'm wrong. So Donny Marie was on at 8:00 on ABC. CBS, what you can watch on the other channel, on I'll say NBC first, was Sanford Arms, CPO Sharky, Quark were there, Chico and the Man was there, sort of as replacements, as like, you know,
Sanford
Winter
Arms
stuff.
being the spin-off of Sanford and Son after
Okay.
Son had gone.
which was referenced in this
Which was
episode
referenced,
that he
yeah,
used to have
yeah.
a son. Okay, but on CBS, you can either watch Donny and Marie, or you can go watch Linda Carter as Wonder Woman.
Oh wow. I mean,
but in the
no-brainer.
UK counter programmed, you could watch Steptoe Arms.
that is a
I'm
reference that
familiar with.
probably not even the people in the UK are going to reference. Oh, get anymore. It's been a while.
It was just for you, James.
Thanks.
Yeah, so that was that. And it looks like Logan's Run was on Saturday nights.
But we can also
Haven't seen
we should say how unique it was to have crossover stars for another network coming on
Yeah,
as
you're
guests.
kind of owned by the networks at the time.
Particularly
weren't
when you're the counter programming.
Yeah.
And you're
Right.
coming on Donny and Marie.
they? Where in Kris Kristofferson's career was this? Was he just music
You know
guy?
what? Even he didn't know at the time.
He didn't look like he knew where he was, but is this
He looked like he was
pre-
smitten with Marie.
Yeah. Is this
did
pre
a
A Star
duet.
Is Born?
Oh,
Is
so he was the
this-
Ralph stand-in.
He had
Hey, I'll
beard.
take Kris Kristofferson. Stevie was like, I could tell that Stevie was into Kris Kristofferson. Because she said,
I think
he's
there were,
handsome.
there were some substance issues happening. But I think
I
this
mean,
is his, is
the
this
70s.
is this around the time of his Star Is Born?
I was gonna say that's
Or
what
was
I
that
was thinking. Is that-
76?
Looking it up now, A Star Is Born came out in 2018 and starred Lady Gaga. No,
No.
1976. So this was
Okay.
just
So
after.
the year prior.
Just
So this
after,
is
yeah.
when he's
Right.
So
at his peak, really, isn't it? Like,
fully
past
transitioned
his peak.
acting. Right.
yeah.
Yeah, pre-Blade.
Yes, well,
Pre-
this is the show that led to Blade.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pre Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
Yeah,
Is he in
he's
that?
essentially playing the same
Yeah.
character here as he played in Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rita Coolidge.
And yes.
Rita Coolidge was there. She sang the James Bond song "All Time High."
Which it wasn't, but
It wasn't, but there is a soft spot in my heart for Octopussy. It's I don't know why I don't have a James Bond podcast. I think we should transition this live action James Bond. I think James not into that.
Not as much. Not as much.
no.
I'll-
Boy,
I'll-
that's sigh of wow.
People are gonna expect more of me. It's British. Yeah.
I don't think of James Bond as British, like as far as like the way the movie. I mean, obviously he's British, but for some reason they feel very Americanized to me. Like Doctor Who to me screams British.
Yeah.
James Bond, I think it's more global.
But I think you're seeing it through the wrong end of the lens. It's because
so,
Bond influenced so much.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That a lot of the tropes of Bond made their way into so many other franchises and heroes and representations of spycraft that's what you're seeing from the other side of it.
Yeah.
But clearly for you, there's not enough Marie in Bond to carry you through all those films.
What else did she do? Did she pop up in anything else post? Because Donny had a long career, but
Marie had a talk show for a while in the late 90s, early 2000s. When was her talk show?
Let me see.
Notice she is absent from a Disturbance in the Force documentary talking about this.
Yeah.
Debuted in 2012.
Oh wow.
But it's now off.
Yeah, it's
like
off.
when did it was what, maybe 3 years?
Just like the Osmonds.
Well, they're serving them up.
Why does it say 19? Oh, Donny Marie was a talk show as well, and then there was just the Marie.
Yeah, because Donny again got to the point where
that's like, fuck this. I don't want any part of my family anymore.
It went just over a year, less than a year, from October to 2012 to July 2013.
And Donny, though, was also one of those stars that found a second life in the 2000s in the UK as like a regular. He would pop up on a lot of your chat shows, and
he's one of those people. He's just around. He's just seems like he's one of these people that whenever they're showing Wimbledon or something, like he's in the crowd, probably trying to entertain the crowd if it starts raining.
Right.
He was one of the bosses in Mulan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's saying, "I'll make a man out of you" in Mulan.
I mean, there's your Book of Boba Fett link, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah, he's saying, "I'll make a man out of you" in Book of Boba Fett. Remember that?
There you go.
but Fennec Shand was Mulan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was also in The Masked Singer, I believe.
And there's your Lost connection.
Peacock. Who wasn't at this point?
Me.
Yet.
Are you waiting for the smoke monster to show up in The Masked Singer too? Is that going to happen?
Jorge showed up once, and it freaked me the fuck out because Jorge is a good friend of mine,
and he kept it quiet from you.
The thing is, me and Stevie kept our Masked Singer watching quiet from the world. We didn't let anybody know that we watched it. Jorge showed the mask comes off. It's my friend on my TV. One of the clues for him was podcast, which I podcasted with him for 4 years. I've heard his voice more than anybody else, which his wife reminded me, like, you edited that show every week. I sent him a text. I literally all caps.
He also said, "I know you're watching, Ralph," when he took the mask off.
He didn't know. He didn't know because I texted him after when he got unmasked. I just sent him a text immediately in all caps that said, "What the fuck?" And his reply was, "Oh, you watch Masked Singer?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." Have since
no, I meant about that
1.
thing, that other thing.
Not to out him, but he also watches it every week, and we have text conversations about it every week, and that's an insight to my Wednesdays.
I also
that's why you like
I will.
Yeah.
Right now he's texting you. What the?
It might be like the Masked Singer is 100% a variety show.
Yeah.
That's how
he's a massive fan of the Osmonds. He doesn't watch live action Star Wars. He just watches anything about the Osmonds.
You were doing Donny and Marie.
Had to tune in.
It was super embarrassing. I completely just outed myself on that because it is a dumb show. The Masked Singer is essentially the Donny Marie show, like the modern day version of that. At least they're self-aware, but that doesn't stop the really bad, corny jokes. Stop
you from watching.
I think we hit it at the same time. Yep. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wolfgang has your number.
Yeah.
This whole show.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay.
I mean, we didn't think we could make it to an hour, but we did it.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah, we accomplished something.
Yep. This might be the most embarrassing episode for Ralph.
Right. I think I'm gonna have to quit and go do a James Bond podcast. So
Well,
join us next week.
Alone, it seems.
Next week we've got a Data Link episode. But then 2 weeks time, I've got an extra week to think of a pick, because in 2 weeks time, Ralph isn't going to be here, so there might be an episode. Yeah, all right, rub it in.
I'm working.
Wow.
I might do an episode.
So what I'm hearing is an invitation to come back. Is that what I'm hearing, James?
Yeah.
You guys want to do a regular episode? It's our next regular episode is our 94th episode, and I feel like maybe I should.
Oh, that's a huge celebration.
Absolutely. I don't know, if I do something, I'll do like a special or something. I don't know what yet, but I've got a couple of weeks to think about it. If not, we're just gonna have a week off.
Reach out. Yeah. I think
screw up the algorithm.
I don't want to miss episode 94.
No, you won't miss episode 94. If I do something, it'll be a special. But yeah.
Oh, got it.
And then
it'll be 93 and a half.
Yeah. We're way over 94 episodes if you include all the other bits and bobs that we've put out.
Stuff.
Yeah, this is just regular episodes. So our next regular episode will be in 3 weeks time? And that will be episode 94. But join us next week for a Data Link about something.
Yeah. Let's do some plugs for Ken. Ken, you got all kinds of stuff going on. What do you want to talk about?
Oh geez.
I used the DuckTales art, your author picture, for our thumbnail, which I absolutely love. I try to convince you to make it your like social avatar because I love it so much.
It's great.
You did try and do that.
But to know about you're sticking with the
here's the thing.
Duck,
well, it's now sort of an easily identifiable brand of just being the icon that I've used. They did change it. It was the original DuckTales Scrooge.
Yeah.
Up until the point that the book was finally announced, and then I updated to the 2017 Scrooge.
Yeah.
No, that's just you don't screw up branding that way. You don't confuse people like that when you're so well established.
I like it so much.
Yeah, no, I mean the Patreon is great to go to. Patreon.com/Ken Plume is a bunch of stuff. I just dropped a 2.5-hour conversation with Doc Hammer, if there's any Venture Brothers fans out there, which they can either become a patron or just purchase directly. They just want that, and it's all about the holiday songs that they've done over the years.
That's awesome.
And just fun, witty banter between Doc and I, available on there. And besides that, I guess just following on all the social media that isn't what used to be Twitter.
Right. You're on Blue Sky. We're on Blue Sky. Everyone,
Blue Sky's
if you're not on Blue Sky, I have a dozen accounts on Blue Sky, and each of them are maxed out at 5 invite codes. So if you want an invite code, please reach out. I will.
What I'm hearing is this is a direct appeal to Marie. Well, that's all I'm hearing right now.
Whatever you're into, Marie, Ralph's got a podcast or something about it.
Marie, if you want to be on social media, hit me up. I'm here. If you want to be in my Lost documentary, that's also a possibility.
Yeah, see if she watched Lost.
I'll ask. It'd be fun if she showed up in my documentary.
Yeah.
And not Jeremy's documentary.
Yeah. It would be.
No, you'll reach out and they'll go, well, no, but we can supply an Osmond who has seen Lost if you would like to have just an Osmond in the documentary.
The brothers. I need the brothers. I need the brothers in the Stormtrooper outfits to come in and tell us what they thought about the polar bears.
Why don't they come in polar bear outfits?
I mean, they've got to come in like Dharma Initiative, like lab coats, right? Surely they're in the background.
Right. We need to
doing a production number.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. On some scratchy VHS.
It's been a delight, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
For so long and giving Patrick the Muppet episode.
I feel like we're gonna have to do it again.
Yeah, we do it again. I'll 100% do it again. I'm not against revisiting stuff we've already done.
We can also you can also do Star Wars adjacent, do the Indiana Jones segment from the Muppets Go Hollywood.
Right. Is that the one that's been making the rounds lately of Kermit shooting a Nazi?
Yes, that's from Muppets Go Hollywood.
Okay.
Sold. I've not seen it. That sounds
Which
great.
also has a Wizard of Oz segment in it. And it's incredible.
I love Wizard of Oz.
And then probably
the Tin Man.
should be avoided Godzilla segment with Dudley Moore.
Oh
no. Oh no. Does Dudley Moore put on an accent?
He does.
Oh no. Is it just like he's faking like he's being dubbed?
Oh, it's Muppets Go to the Movies. That's right. Muppets Go Hollywood was I'm just remembering Muppets Go Hollywood was the premiere special for the Muppet movie. Muppets Go to the Movies, or Muppets at the Movies.
I can watch them.
Muppets Go to the Movies, I think it is essentially the coda for the Muppet Show. Because it was produced as a special after the end of the 5th season of the Muppet Show, and it is the only time you see the exterior of the Muppet Theater, as they have a nice little stage door goodbye of saying goodnight to all of the Muppets as they're exiting the theater at the end of the performance
that's
of
great.
that special. So it's a nice little coda for the show.
Cool.
And technically was a tie-in to promote the big screen coda for the Muppet Show, which was The Great Muppet Caper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick.
Patrick brought some great stuff to the episode, I'm sure. I don't remember.
I love the okay. Thank you for the I'm sure.
It was our first guest episode, that one. Yeah.
This was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for sitting through that and watching it and talking about it for over an hour.
Yeah,
we appreciate it. Thanks for everybody for joining us.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Like, share, all that stuff, and until next week, don't give in to hate.
Celebrate the love.
I'm a little bit country.